There comes a point in life when you have to make a decision, a real decision about what matters most to you. Not what's convenient, not what's popular, not what everyone else is doing, but what really matters. And the truth is, most people never make that choice because they're too busy being distracted. They're scrolling, they're comparing, they're reacting. Their attention, the most valuable currency of their lives, is being sold piece by piece, click by click, scroll by scroll. And they don't even realize it. Every dream, every goal, every bit of greatness inside you is competing with noise, the noise of the world, the noise of others, the noise in your own head. You can't create anything powerful if you're constantly consumed by distractions that keep you small, unfocused, and uncertain. If you want to rise, you have to distance yourself from the distractions. You have to pull away from the noise and find your signal again, because here's the truth. The world is designed to pull you in every direction except forward. You wake up with good intentions, you have plans, goals, ambitions, but the moment you check your phone, you're gone. Your focus is hijacked by things that have nothing to do with your purpose. You think you're staying connected, but really, you're disconnecting from yourself. You think you're keeping up with the world, but you're falling behind in your own life. If you want to win in life, you must protect your focus like it's your life, because it is. Every distraction steals time, and time is the one thing you never get back. You can lose money and make it again. You can lose opportunities and find new ones. But when you lose your focus, you lose your edge, your clarity, your power. The people who rise above are not the ones who have more talent. They're the ones who learn to guard their energy, their environment, and their attention. It's not easy to pull away. It's not easy to distance yourself from the things that give you quick pleasure but kill your long-term peace. But that's what growth demands. Sometimes you have to disappear for a while, not to quit, but to rebuild. Not to escape the world, but to come back stronger than ever. When you pull away from distractions, you create space, and that space becomes your power. It's where clarity is born. It's where creativity returns. It's where self-belief grows again. You have to remember your mind is a garden. Whatever you plant will grow, and distractions are weeds. They don't show up all at once. They sneak in slowly, take root quietly, and before you know it, they've choked your purpose. To reclaim your focus, you've got to pull them out one by one. You have to choose silence over noise, purpose over pleasure, progress over comfort. Distance yourself from people who drain your energy, from habits that dull your mind, from content that poisons your peace. Surround yourself with what feeds your soul, not what feeds your ego. Your time is sacred. Your focus is power. Your attention is your life. The moment you realize that, you'll stop giving it away so cheaply. Because here's what happens when you distance yourself from distractions: you begin to hear yourself again. You start to remember who you are, what you want, and why you started. You begin to feel that hunger, that drive, that fire that once burned in you. You begin to move differently, with intention, with purpose, with clarity, and that's when everything changes. So step back, disconnect to reconnect. Turn down the noise of the world so you can turn up the volume on your vision. The future belongs to those who can focus, the ones who master themselves in a world full of chaos, the ones who understand that distractions are not harmless. They are dream killers dressed in entertainment, comfort, and convenience. Don't let the world steal your focus. Don't let distractions dictate your destiny. You owe it to yourself to create distance, to reclaim your attention, and to pour it back into your purpose. Because when you do, your life stops being random. It becomes powerful, intentional, unstoppable. Protect your focus. It's the foundation of your power. Everything in life begins and ends with focus. It's the invisible force that determines whether your dreams stay ideas or become reality. Focus is what separates the ones who wish from the ones who achieve. But in a world that constantly demands your attention, protecting that focus has become a battle. Every beep, every notification, every scroll, every distraction, it's all designed to pull you away from your purpose. And the truth is, the moment you lose focus, you lose momentum. You lose the drive that makes progress possible. Most people don't fail because they're not talented or not capable. They fail because they can't stay focused long enough to see something through. They start strong, but they get pulled off track by things that don't matter. The mind wants to wander. It craves novelty, entertainment, and escape. But those who achieve extraordinary success learn how to master their attention. They understand that focus is not something you find. It's something you create and protect every single day. To protect your focus means to make deliberate choices about where your energy goes. It means saying no more often than you say yes. It means turning off the noise so you can turn on your power. Every distraction, no matter how small, costs you something: your time, your energy, your peace. When you guard your focus, you're not being selfish. You're being strategic. You're recognizing that your potential depends on your ability to channel your attention toward what truly matters. Think about it. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones doing 100 things at once. They're the ones who pick a few things that matter and give them everything they've got. They've trained their minds to resist the temptation of distraction and stay locked in on their mission. Focus gives you clarity. It allows you to see possibilities others miss. When you protect your focus, you protect your vision. Without focus, even the strongest desire gets diluted. You might have big goals, but if your attention is scattered, your actions will be weak. Your energy will be divided, and divided energy creates divided results. Protecting your focus means being intentional about your time. It means designing your environment in a way that supports your goals. It's about surrounding yourself with people who lift your energy instead of draining it. It's about creating boundaries that keep you in alignment with your purpose. There's power in simplicity. When you simplify your life, you strengthen your focus. The mind can only give its best when it's not overloaded. But most people live in a constant state of mental chaos, switching tasks, checking phones, responding to messages, jumping from one thing to another. They think they're being productive, but in reality, they're scattering their energy so thin that nothing meaningful ever gets done. Protecting your focus is about reclaiming control. It's about choosing depth over distraction, presence over busyness, results over noise. You have to treat your focus like it's sacred, because it is. It's your most valuable asset, and once it's gone, it's hard to get back. When you give your attention to everything, you give your power to nothing. That's why you have to build habits that strengthen your focus muscle. Train your mind to stay in the moment. Create rituals that ground you. Start your day with intention, not reaction. Don't open your phone before you open your purpose. When you wake up, decide what deserves your energy today and protect it fiercely. Protecting your focus also means protecting your state of mind, because your state determines your focus, and your focus determines your results. If you're stressed, tired, or overwhelmed, your ability to concentrate weakens. That's why taking care of your body, your emotions, and your spirit is part of protecting your focus. You can't perform at your best if your energy is scattered across things that don't serve you. Discipline is freedom here, the discipline to say no, to unplug, to walk away from anything that takes you away from your purpose. The world will always try to pull your attention in 1,000 directions. It will test your priorities, tempt your impulses, and challenge your discipline. But focus is a decision. Every moment, you're choosing what to give your attention to, and that choice determines the quality of your life. Protect it like your success depends on it, because it does. When you master your focus, you master your destiny. When you can direct your attention intentionally, nothing outside you can control you. You become unstoppable not because the world gets quieter, but because you learn to stay centered no matter how loud it gets. Distance creates clarity. Step away to see your vision clearly. Sometimes the reason you can't see your next step isn't because it's hidden. It's because you're too close to the noise. When you're surrounded by too much input, too many opinions, too many expectations, your vision becomes clouded. You start confusing what you truly want with what others think you should want. That's when you begin to drift away from your purpose without even realizing it. Distance isn't about running away from life, it's about stepping back far enough to see it with perspective. When you distance yourself from the noise, you begin to see patterns, possibilities, and paths that were invisible before. The chaos quiets down, and suddenly, what once felt overwhelming begins to make sense. In every journey of growth, there comes a point where you must pull back and reflect. Constant motion without direction leads to burnout, not breakthroughs. The mind needs space to process, to reset, to realign. But most people don't allow themselves that space. They keep moving, keep hustling, keep chasing, afraid that slowing down means falling behind. Yet the truth is, clarity doesn't come in chaos. It comes in stillness. When you pause and create distance, you allow your inner voice to rise above the noise of the world. You start hearing your truth again. You remember why you started, what drives you, and what actually matters. Clarity is power, but it's impossible to find when your focus is scattered in every direction. Distance helps you filter what's real from what's noise. It's like stepping back from a painting. Up close, all you see are brush strokes, textures, and colors. But when you take a few steps back, you see the masterpiece. The same goes for your life. When you're too caught up in the day-to-day grind, you lose sight of the bigger picture. You get tangled in details that don't matter, stressed over things that won't matter a year from now. Creating distance helps you realign with your greater purpose. It allows you to see whether what you're doing is moving you closer to your vision or just keeping you busy. You can't get clarity in the same environment that created confusion. Sometimes you have to change your scenery, your circle, or even your habits to see things differently. Take a step back from constant comparison. Distance yourself from people who blur your focus or pull you off your path. Step away from distractions that fill your mind but empty your soul. The moment you create distance, you start seeing with fresh eyes. You start realizing that not everything deserves your energy, not every opportunity deserves your attention, and not every noise deserves your response. When you learn to create distance, you also learn to control your emotions, because clarity isn't just mental, it's emotional. When you're too close to a situation, your emotions distort your perception. You react instead of respond, but when you step back, you regain your balance. You can see things as they are, not as your frustration or fear paints them to be. That's when you make better choices, not emotional ones, but intentional ones. The leaders, creators, and achievers who rise above the crowd are not necessarily smarter. They just see more clearly because they take time to step back and reflect. Distance gives you the gift of perspective. It allows you to see not only where you are, but how far you've come. It helps you recognize the progress you often overlook while you're in the middle of the struggle. When you're too immersed in the process, every challenge feels permanent, every failure feels final. But when you step back, you realize these moments are just chapters, not conclusions. You begin to see that every setback is part of a bigger story, every delay is a lesson in disguise. Clarity also brings confidence. When you know where you're going, you stop wasting time second-guessing yourself. You move with intention. You stop saying yes to things that don't serve your mission. You stop letting temporary emotions make permanent decisions. You start walking in alignment with your values, your vision, and your purpose. But to get there, you must first create distance from the chaos that clouds your mind. In a world that rewards constant activity, creating distance can feel counterintuitive. But stillness isn't laziness, it's strategy. It's where insight lives. It's where breakthroughs happen. When you give yourself room to breathe, to think, to feel, you reconnect with your power. You begin to understand that you don't need to chase clarity. You need to allow it to find you. And it only finds you in space. When you step back, you create room for intuition, creativity, and wisdom to rise. The fog lifts, the noise fades, and what's truly important stands out with undeniable sharpness. Distance doesn't disconnect you from life, it reconnects you to what's real. Eliminate distractions, they're silent killers of dreams. Most people don't realize how much they're losing every single day to distractions that seem harmless. The constant buzz of a phone, the endless pull of social media, the mindless scrolling that steals minutes that turn into hours. Every notification, every interruption, every small detour takes you further away from what you said you wanted. Distractions don't announce themselves as obstacles. They come disguised as entertainment, as connection, as something small and unimportant. But over time, they drain your focus, your energy, and your potential. They rob you quietly, not in big moments, but in thousands of tiny ones. And by the time you notice, your dreams are half finished, your motivation is weakened, and your vision is blurred. To eliminate distractions, you must first recognize their power. You must understand that your attention is not infinite, it's limited. And every moment you give to something meaningless is a moment stolen from something meaningful. Greatness requires depth, and depth requires focus. You can't go deep into your purpose when your mind is pulled in 20 different directions. You can't create anything powerful when you're constantly reacting to things that don't matter. The world is full of noise, and that noise is designed to keep you busy but not productive, entertained but not evolving, connected but not fulfilled. Eliminating distractions is about taking back control of your mind. It's about realizing that your attention is your greatest asset and treating it that way. You have to become intentional with what you allow into your life. The videos you watch, the people you talk to, the habits you repeat, all of it shapes your focus. You can't expect clarity if you constantly feed your mind chaos. You can't expect discipline if you surround yourself with temptation. The mind will always follow the path of least resistance, so you must build an environment that supports your highest goals. That means removing the things that pull you away, not just managing them. True discipline isn't about resisting distraction forever. It's about designing your life in a way that distractions lose their grip on you. Every dream requires sacrifice, and one of the biggest sacrifices is comfort. Distractions are comfortable. They give you the illusion of rest while robbing you of real growth. They make you feel busy while you're standing still. When you eliminate distractions, you're not depriving yourself. You're liberating yourself. You're freeing your mind from the endless noise that drowns your purpose. You're choosing power over passivity, intention over impulse. You start to feel the difference between being active and being effective. You begin to experience what it feels like to actually move forward instead of in circles. The process is uncomfortable at first because your mind is addicted to stimulation. The moment you turn off the noise, you'll feel restless, bored, even anxious. But that discomfort is the signal of growth. It's your mind detoxing from constant input. It's in that silence where real creativity and vision begin to surface. You can't hear your inner voice when your world is full of distractions screaming for attention. The ideas that change your life don't come in chaos. They come in quiet moments of focus, when your energy is directed inward instead of scattered outward. Start small. Identify what drains you the most and cut it out. Be ruthless about it. If something doesn't serve your growth, it doesn't deserve your attention. Every distraction you remove gives you more time, more clarity, more peace. Protect your time like it's gold, because it is. Every moment you spend distracted is a piece of your future being spent on something that doesn't matter. Learn to say no to things that don't align with your mission. Learn to disconnect so you can reconnect with what's real. You'll notice that as you eliminate distractions, your confidence grows. You start keeping promises to yourself. You stop wasting time on meaningless things, and you start investing it in your purpose. Your focus sharpens, your results multiply. You start feeling in control again because you are. The fog lifts, and suddenly, you realize that the world didn't need to slow down, you just needed to stop letting it control your attention. Distractions may seem small, but their impact is massive. They fragment your energy and drain your drive. Every time you allow a distraction to win, you weaken your discipline. But every time you eliminate one, you strengthen your purpose. It's a battle fought in silence, in daily choices, in those moments when it's easier to give in, but you choose to stay committed. Because success doesn't belong to the most talented, it belongs to the most focused. And the most focused are the ones who learned how to eliminate everything that keeps them from becoming who they were meant to be. Guard your energy and environment, they shape your destiny. The energy you carry determines the quality of your life, your decisions, and your results. Everything you allow into your space either fuels you or drains you. It either pushes you closer to your goals or pulls you further away. Yet most people move through life unaware of how much their environment influences their mindset. They allow negativity, noise, and chaos to surround them, and then they wonder why they feel stuck, unmotivated, or uninspired. Your energy is sacred, and if you don't protect it, the world will consume it. You have to be intentional about who you spend time with, what you listen to, what you watch, and where you put your attention, because everything carries energy and everything leaves an impact. Guarding your energy starts with self-awareness. You have to notice what lifts you and what drains you. Pay attention to how you feel after you interact with certain people or spend time in certain environments. Some people inspire you while others exhaust you. Some environments bring out your creativity while others suffocate it. When you learn to read your energy, you begin to see patterns. You start recognizing that your life is a reflection of the environments you tolerate and the energy you allow. If your surroundings are full of negativity, gossip, doubt, or chaos, that energy will slowly invade your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. The mind is a sponge. It absorbs what it's exposed to, consciously or not. That's why you must guard your mental and emotional space with the same intensity you guard your dreams. Energy management is not just about avoiding negativity. It's about cultivating what empowers you. It's about filling your space with inspiration, positivity, and purpose. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow, who speak life into your goals, and who remind you of your potential when you forget it. Spend time in environments that make you feel alive, not drained. Fill your mind with thoughts that expand you, not shrink you. The more you elevate the energy around you, the more you elevate your own state of being. When you're in a high energy state, creativity flows, confidence grows, and your ability to take bold action strengthens. But when your energy is low, everything feels harder, discipline weakens, clarity fades, and doubt takes over. Guarding your environment also means protecting your physical space. The places you spend your time have an effect on your mental clarity. A cluttered space creates a cluttered mind. If your surroundings are chaotic, your thoughts will mirror that chaos. But when you organize your space, you organize your thoughts. When you create a clean, peaceful, and intentional environment, your focus sharpens and your energy rises. You begin to feel in control, centered, and ready to act. Your external environment and your internal world are deeply connected. You can't have peace in one if there's chaos in the other. Your environment includes not only people and places, but also habits. The routines you follow every day either build your energy or break it down. Scrolling aimlessly, consuming negativity, overcommitting to things that drain you, these are habits that silently deplete your energy. Replace them with rituals that recharge you. Wake up with gratitude, move your body, feed your mind with empowering content, and take moments of silence to reset. When you build habits that generate energy, you become unstoppable. You start to feel a sense of momentum, a sense of alignment between who you are and where you're going. Guarding your energy sometimes requires difficult decisions. You may have to distance yourself from people who once felt familiar but no longer align with your path. You may have to leave environments that feel comfortable but no longer challenge you to grow. It's not about judgment, it's about protection. You cannot rise while carrying the weight of everything that drains you. You have to create boundaries, clear, strong, unapologetic boundaries, because every time you let something toxic invade your space, you're giving away a piece of your power. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters that protect your peace and preserve your energy for what truly matters. Energy is contagious. When you're surrounded by driven, positive, and purpose-filled people, you naturally start thinking bigger, acting bolder, and believing deeper. But when you're surrounded by negativity, it seeps into your mindset like poison. It's not enough to want success. You must build an environment that supports success. The people, the spaces, the energy, all of it matters. You become what you're around, and if you want to change your life, start by changing your surroundings. Every goal, every vision, every dream you're chasing depends on the state of your energy. When your energy is strong, you handle challenges differently. You stay calm under pressure, you think clearly, you act decisively. But when your energy is scattered or drained, even small problems feel impossible. That's why guarding your energy is not optional, it's essential. It's the foundation that supports everything you want to build. And when you learn to protect it fiercely, everything in your life begins to align with power, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. Disconnect from noise to reconnect with purpose. The world today is louder than it has ever been. Everywhere you look, there's something demanding your attention: news, notifications, conversations, trends, opinions, and endless content designed to keep you occupied but not fulfilled. It's constant, it's exhausting, and it's easy to get lost in it. You wake up with your phone, fall asleep with your phone, and in between, your mind never truly rests. You're connected to everything, yet somehow, you feel disconnected from yourself. The noise of the world drowns out the voice of your purpose, the whisper inside that tells you who you are and what you were meant to do. To hear it again, you must disconnect from the noise. You must create silence in a world that never stops talking. Disconnection is not about isolation or retreating from life. It's about stepping away from the chaos long enough to remember what truly matters. The more noise you let in, the more your mind becomes cluttered with distractions that don't serve your growth. You start chasing what looks important instead of what feels meaningful. You begin reacting to the world instead of creating your own path. But when you disconnect, even for a little while, you create space for clarity to return. You start hearing your own thoughts again, not the thoughts planted by society, not the expectations of others, but the truth that's been buried under all the noise. Reconnecting with purpose requires presence. You can't find it in the rush. You can't find it while multitasking or scrolling endlessly. Purpose reveals itself in stillness, in moments of quiet reflection, in solitude, in honest conversations with yourself. When you unplug from the world and tune into your heart, you start to see what really drives you. You start to remember what used to excite you, what made you feel alive before the noise took over. The purpose you're searching for isn't lost. It's just buried under layers of distraction. You've just been too busy listening to everything else to hear it. The truth is, most people are afraid of silence because silence forces you to face yourself. It exposes the parts of you that you've been avoiding by staying busy. It brings up your fears, your doubts, your regrets, but it also reveals your strength, your passion, and your vision. When you sit in silence long enough, you begin to realize what you've been missing. You begin to understand that purpose doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. You don't find it by chasing noise, you discover it by listening to your own inner voice. Disconnecting from noise means setting boundaries with the world around you. It means deciding when to engage and when to pull away. It means giving yourself permission to take a break from the constant stream of information that overwhelms your mind. Turn off your phone. Step outside. Breathe, sit in stillness without reaching for a distraction. It may feel uncomfortable at first because your mind is addicted to constant stimulation. But the more you practice it, the more powerful it becomes. You begin to notice how much calmer your thoughts feel, how much lighter your energy becomes, and how much clearer your direction gets. When you reconnect with your purpose, your actions begin to align differently. You stop chasing things that don't matter. You stop measuring your worth by other people's opinions. You start making decisions that come from conviction, not confusion. You begin to move with a sense of direction that feels grounded and powerful. Purpose gives meaning to your pain, direction to your ambition, and depth to your success. It becomes the compass that guides your choices no matter how loud the world gets. Disconnecting from the noise also means being selective about what you let back in. Once you find clarity, you have to protect it. You have to be intentional about what kind of energy, information, and people you allow around you. You can't reconnect with your purpose only to lose it again in the same chaos that once drowned it out. Build a routine that keeps you connected to your purpose, whether it's through journaling, meditation, prayer, nature, or simply time spent alone reflecting. Make silence a part of your growth, not an afterthought. When you learn to disconnect regularly, you'll notice a shift in the way you think, feel, and live. You'll become more centered, more grounded, more focused. You'll stop reacting to the noise and start responding to your calling. The noise of the world will still exist, but it will no longer control you. You'll know when to listen and when to turn away. You'll recognize that peace is not something you find outside yourself. It's something you build from within. And that peace becomes the foundation for everything: your creativity, your confidence, your drive, your purpose. Because once you quiet the noise around you, you finally hear the truth within you.